Hey guys, welcome back. In this lesson I will show you how to use Boto3 library to download files into the file system or into the memory using Boto3 library from AWS S3 buckets. So to support these operations, all we need to do is to first of all import Boto3 library and instantiate the S3 client. Of course, we will need Bytes.io class imported from the standard IO module to have an ability to support our in-memory operations. Now let's take a look how to download files in general. So first of all, we are defining a couple of methods. The first one will download files to the file system. The second one will download files in memory. So in this specific example, the method accepts three arguments: bucket name, object key, the actual path in S3 bucket where the file is located, and the local file path. Basically, this argument is required to tell our script or program where to store the content of the downloaded file. Afterwards, we are using a standard S3 client download file method. We are providing it with these specific arguments. Of course, you may use additional arguments for this particular method. And in this specific example, we are setting up a callback, which points to download callback method. This method allows us to calculate how much data did we downloaded from the S3 bucket. Now, as soon as this method can be executed, you should expect the file be downloaded to the local file path location in your file system. Next, let's take a look how to download file into the memory. First of all, we need to instantiate the Bytes.io class object, which will support in memory IO operations. Then we are using slightly different S3 client download file object method, which accepts several arguments like bucket name, object key as usual, the actual file descriptor where we need to write the file content. Of course, this method supports another arguments which you can check out in our resources section below or in official Boto3 documentation. As a result of this method execution, we are reading the file content from memory and providing it as an output from this method. So let's take a look how to unit test the code which we just discussed. So first things first, we are importing several libraries like Boto3 Moto to have an ability to mock AWS S3 API and of course interact with AWS S3 APIs. Next, we are importing the operation system module to have an ability to delete the downloaded file content just because we need to clean everything up from the file system afterwards. The unit test is required just because we are writing Python unit test. And of course, we're going to be using mock patch method in combination with string IO to have an ability to capture the output of the download callback method and test basically that we are downloading exactly the exact amount of data from the S3 bucket each time. So the test itself is very simple. So as usual, we are mocking the entire test class with mock S3 decorator. We are using setup method to set up to set up S3 bucket and put the file into the S3 bucket with a specific content, which is going to be test data. Those operations should be already familiar for you. Next, we are defining a couple of methods in our unit test. The first method will test the actual download file operation to the file system. We are importing this file from the download. We are importing this method from the download file py script. Next, we are defining the actual location for the downloaded file. And here's an example of like a trick how to capture the output of the print statement, which prints the amount of data we downloaded from the S3 bucket. So we are patching sysstd out with a string IO class, basically instance, and now our expected output will be that we downloaded exactly 9 bytes of data. Then we are downloading the file. We are expecting that the output to the std out will be exactly the same as stored in this specific variable. So then we are basically checking that the file exists on our file system. Then we are reading the file and comparing the data from the downloaded file with our specific string, like this data. And finally, we are deleting the file from the file system. So if the test executes successfully, first of all, we are sure that our callback method works. It provides us correct information. Then basically we downloaded the file with the specific file content. Next, we defined a little bit more simple unit test to check how the file has been downloaded into the memory. So again, as usual, we are importing a download file to memory method from the download file py. We are calling our download file method, providing a bucket name and the object key. Next, we are getting the file content out of this specific method. We are checking that it is not null. And finally, we are comparing the file content obtained from the method with the exact text content which we are expecting over here. So if, again, all the tests are executed successfully, we should be 100% sure that our code works. So let's take a look if we can assure in this. So we are calling Python S3 lessons, download file, and test download file py. And as you can see, we successfully ran 2 tests, no errors during the execution. So basically, that's it, how you are downloading files to the S3 bucket and, from the S3 bucket, and of course, unit testing these methods. So see you in the next lesson. Stay tuned.